17 BFG is here. Now, I just want to say this briefly about Valkyrie. I don't look at dirt sheets. I feel like it's not that important for me as a wrestling reviewer to actually see too much ahead of time. It takes away from not only my enjoyment, but also my spontaneity. That's just for me. If I know too much ahead of time, I get bored with it and I just don't give a damn anymore. And I found out this morning by looking at Andre's channel that Valkyrie was not going to be at Bound for Glory. And I'm going, are you serious? What the hell? But after I saw the full video of Andre, I understand what he's saying. Because, look, say a lot, but a wrestler is a person. They got to do their business. Now, we don't know what that business is because a lot of you idiots decide to chomp on her ass. At least that's what I understand. You basically harassed her a little bit, pissed her off a little bit, and instead of her telling you the reason why she wasn't going to be at Bound for Glory, she said, sorry, I'm not going to tell you now. But I will be there after Bound for Glory next year. Basically, that's what she said. It's sad to see that sometimes the internet can be so dumb. Instead of waiting to hear the answers, you already believe the answers, and then you witch hunt somebody because of those answers you believe they are. So, it's a really big waste. Wrestlers got to do what they got to do. Either it's a personal problem, a mental problem, a physical problem. If they can't be there, they can't be there. No matter how much we don't like it. And I'm not going to lie. I wanted to see the wedding match. I did. I wanted to see wedding match. Red wedding match. Got it right this time. Look, I wanted to see the match, but if you can't, you can't. You go on with what you got. Now, I'm going to say this. I wasn't sure how well the show was going to be, particularly after she not being there. But I will say this. I was pleasantly surprised that the show was actually better than I thought. It was a better show than I expected it to be. Now, the first match I'm going for is a match I really don't want to think about, but I will say it did tell a decent story. Taking away from its storyline, it told a decent story, and that is a Guido versus Abyss Monsters Ball match. One of the things I wish had been there is Father Mitchell. I believe that's his name, Father Mitchell. Or Michael Mitchell. I keep forgetting. I'm sorry, Morgan. I know you left me the message, but I've had a lot on my mind lately. I'm learning animation, and it's kind of hard to keep track of everything. I forgot his name. But I would have liked to see him there, but if he can't leave the country, or if he didn't want to be involved, or worse, GFW are not willing to pay him, he wasn't there. But was the match good? It was okay. Particularly by the time of the end of it, and I was going, why is Laura Van Ness still a nut? Why? Why? I wish they'd drop it now, particularly she's back in Canada. But no, they kept it. But there was a good reason for it, because she kicked Guido's ass, which was understandable. It made perfect sense. She was the heroine of it. She got fucked by him. She got used by Joseph Park. I wouldn't have blamed her for messing up both of them. But then you got Rosemary coming in, which made it even more a little confusing until she basically missed the Abyss in the face. But in the end, the Abyss still won, which I'm perfectly fine with because it ends. Hopefully this storyline. Now, does it mean that they're not going to spin off in the storyline? If GFW in January is actually moving to Canada, and Guido goes to Canada, and Laura Van Ness is in Canada, oh, they are going to do the angle where Laura Van Ness is now going to accept him as her what? You see how much I'm botching. I don't want to see it, but it is, if they are going to go there, it'll make some sense. Does it mean I want to understand the sense? No. I don't want to see Laura Van Ness a nut anymore. I want to see her go back to being a real, beautiful, capable woman. I don't want to see Guido anymore, but I know they're going to show him still, especially after he lost to the Abyss. They're going to do something. They're not going to end it here. If they do, I'll be so happy. But do I believe they'll do it? No. Now, X Division match, I believe, was the most high-flying match of the night, but the most weakest match of the night. Now, it was not because it wasn't very action-packed and high-flying. It was the most high-flying match of the night. It was the most action in the match. Most action throughout the night. That was the best match for that. But it told the worst story because you allowed Trevally to retain, which I expected it. I expect him to hold into 2018. Or if they're that stupid, they already taped him giving up the title coming up this Thursday, which would be dumb. That's just me. It would be dumb if they gave up the title next week. They should wait until January. That makes sense. But then you're like, you're in Canada. Couldn't you give it to Petey Williams? The guy who should have gotten a push near the end of this year when he came back. Maybe Matt Sydal. Matt Sydal, who is red hot, went up against Bobby Lashley. Nope. Then you got Desmond Xavier, who won the Super X Cup, who we haven't barely seen, and then we saw him, and then people are interested in him. Nope. So we get essentially Trevally retaining. And hopefully, and I say this again, hopefully he will not drop that strap this coming Thursday, because if he does, it is beyond stupid. But that's just me, and it was the weakest match of the night. Now, another match that was... how can I say this? It wasn't very weak, but it wasn't a good story either. The 51-50 street fight. LAX versus OVE. Look, I said this in my last Impact Wrestling review. Conan has ruined his legacy when it comes to LAX and GFW. I'm sorry, he has. What he should have did when he came back this time around was to come in, help those guys to get over, let them begin to talk, let them begin to show their abilities on their own, and then he would periodically come back to help them during a very important Impact or important Impact themed pay-per-view. Well, you know what I mean, a themed Impact, like a pay-per-view. That would have been better for him to do than what he's been doing. It just ruined the gimmick of LAX. It just has. And I find it so sad. Look, I'm part Puerto Rican. I have no problem with Latin heritage and wanting to embrace your Spanish. Remember, this is Spanish we're talking about. Not just Latin America. We're talking about Spaniards who came with people from the islands, did some nasty, and created us. Well, part of me anyway. Look, I care about Latino pride, roughly. I'm not really big into it, but I do care about it. But when I see someone who cares so much about Latin pride, but is not willing to create a legacy for Latin pride, but to stroke his own ego, because that's what it really looks like to me. I've heard him talk on some podcasts. He has an ego. He may be a great guy to know in personal life. He may be a great guy to talk to, but he's got an ego, and he ruined LAX. Now, was the match itself good? It was good. And what is that guy, Samson Kale? Oh, I can't remember his name. Samson something. What was his name? Samson. I'm trying to remember because I don't remember a damn thing about the guy's name. Whoever he was, Samson is supposedly a relative of the Chris brothers. I'm alright with it. And I'm not alright with it because there's no build-up. We barely seen anything of OVE except on other promotions. And it just feels, Not because they're bad wrestlers and their gimmick is totally bad. The problem is they're not in GFW. They're not in Impact. They've been at WrestlingNOAH, or they've been at AAA, or they've been at Crash. They've been at the other promotions than GFW. And here's the thing. We had a match from WrestlingNOAH. Where was it? WrestlingNOAH. I can't remember the two guys' name. Oh yeah, I think it was Tyson Ducks versus Makafuji. I'm mispronouncing the guy's name. I'm sorry. If I don't see the guy enough, I don't remember his name. It's just, I'm sorry. That's a flaw I have. they had an okay match. Law Van Ness was shown there, which I still don't understand why they're still doing that with her. It was a good match. But here's the thing. You've been showing too much of the other promotions. The more you show the other promotions instead of yourself, the more the other promotions don't mean anything. You're the leader of these promotions. You got the Crash promotion. You got AAA. You got WrestlingNOAH, and now BCW. There are 5 wrestling promotions under you, GFW. Where are you? When you're not promoted, you're not promoted, they're not promoted. That's what it comes down to. If GFW doesn't make their content more orientated towards himself and then showing some of the promotions, this means nothing. If you show them every week, it's a joke, because then you're not doing anything. The National Wrestling Alliance did it 10 times better. That shows how bad this is. And that was back in the 70s. Anyway, you got the Knockouts match. I'm going straight into it. The video package for the women are the repeats. I did finally get a shot of Allie with Braxton Sutter. I always felt that Allie should be much more savvy, much more tougher. Yes, they want to show her the innocent side. And in real life, Allie is actually a very sweet, nice person. But when she was Cherry Bomb, she was tougher than this. And I truly believe that she needs to combine a little bit of an old Cherry Bomb with a little bit of Allie. You put them together, you got a little bit of a tougher woman that gives a little more edge that we need. Now, either she can't do it or she won't do it. Either GFW can't let her do it because they don't want to lose the Allie they have, or she won't do it because she likes being the nice, sweet person that's more closer to herself. That's just me. Was the match good? It was okay. But we know what was going to happen. There was no way they weren't going to let Gail Kim win that title. It would have been nice to see Allie win it. Really, it would have been nice. It wouldn't have been good to see Sienna retain because, to be honest, they have not promoted her at all. Retaining it wouldn't have saved the Knockouts division. Either it had to go to Allie, who would have been a fresh face, or would have had to go to Gail Kim because she's retiring. So we got Gail Kim. Now the question is going to be, this coming Thursday, what are they going to do with Gail Kim? What's about to happen? Is she going to present a new title? They're going to scrap the old title, the color, the shape, everything, and give a new title. That's what I think would be better. That's what I'm hoping for. But that's just me. Now, Lashley versus, well, Lashley and King Mo, who I don't care about, versus Stefan Mulberry and Moose. I will say this about Moose. It was awesome to see a guy wrap him down to the ring. Now, it's not like something has been done before. But for Moose, it felt special. The guy, I don't remember the guy's name, but he rapped very well. It was clean. You don't hear clean rap all the time anymore. I mean, it is so dirty all the time, you don't know what real clean rap is like. I remember it because I heard it. I was never a big rap guy. Anyway, was the match good? It actually was good. Did the match make sense? Half the match was pro wrestling. Half the match was pro wrestling. The other half was mixed martial arts, which I felt was the wisest thing to do. Honestly, I know a lot of people are going to say, are you kidding me? It was stupid to do that. Or there'll be people saying, it was awesome. I'm seeing it in perspective of balance, not that it was awesome. You got mixed martial arts versus pro wrestling. That's what you got. You needed to have a balance of showing half pro wrestling and half mixed martial arts. If you showed more pro wrestling than mixed martial arts, it would have been a joke. If you showed more mixed martial arts than pro wrestling, not only would have been a joke, it would have hurt the wrestling business. So having a balance was the wisest thing to do. Now, was that alright with Dan Lambert throwing people into that ring? No. I felt they didn't need to have the guys in there. Mind you, it was understandable why they did it. They wanted to show that they were dominant because they had the numbers. Seeing King Mo get his face cut open, that was cool. Seeing Moose go to the top and then jump down on two guys, that was cool. But the thing that gets me, that makes no sense, is that top team won. I don't know what they're going to gain from this. I know people will say, well, they're going to continue to feud. Why? Why would they continue to feud? Top team has now beat the crap out of GFW not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 freaking times. 4. Over the months. I know there's a lot more because of the sporadic fighting. But they've beaten them multiple times. Why do you care? Top team has dominated GFW. There is nothing to gain for GFW Impact if they continue this feud. Now, if they just go away now, fine. But I don't believe it's going to happen. And I really believe this is hurting the product. Now, Team AAA versus Team Impact. You got Phantasma, you got Taxiano, and the other guy, I can't remember his name, versus Storm versus... Woo! I gotta say about Eddie Edwards, he took a nasty hit halfway through the match. He did. It looked like a, what was it? A spike power bomb? No, a spike power drive almost. He took it. Well, was it a power? Was it? I can't remember what it was exactly. It looked like a tombstone pile driver. But it looked like it was in reverse. So, it was ugly. That is a very dangerous move, particularly that Eddie Edwards' head was clearly near the guy's knees. So essentially, he took a hit to the head a little bit. There was no way he didn't. So that makes me nervous for Eddie Edwards. But he seemed to be alright and he got up, and now he's going to have a challenge next week for the NOAH's Heavyweight Championship title. I'm alright with that. In the end, the 2 things you take away from that match is 1, a little bit of heat between Storm and EC3. And then after it's over, Storm and EC3 share a beer. Does that mean they've settled their differences? My guess is no. But they just wanted to share beer. I'll take it for what it was. At least you can say they did do it. At least in a way that people liked it in Canada. And I think it was Ontario. I can't remember where the place was. Ontario, Canada. I believe that was where it was. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. I couldn't remember. But, oh, and one other thing. The crowd there, even though it was not extremely loud, was very good. At least they were more enthusiastic than the Orlando crowd. Because the Orlando crowd, they weren't very enthusiastic. This one was a bit better. And what is left? Anything left here? The only thing left is Eli Drake versus Johnny M. I've always said this, and I kept saying it until today. Eli Drake has 4 out of the 5 tools. Charisma, mic skills, good physique, can tell a story in the ring, which means being a ring general and having presence in the ring. You got to be able to hold yourself in the ring. He had 4 out of the 5. He could never be a ring general so far. Tonight, he became a ring general. It wasn't the fact he did a lot of high-flying moves. It wasn't the fact he did them. It's the fact that he could do them when he wanted to. I didn't see that from him all the matches I've seen him for the last 2 to 3 years he's been in TNA and GFW. Now you can see when he wants to pull them out, he can pull them out. That makes a ring general a ring general. It isn't the fact that he can do every flip and kick on the planet. It's the fact that when he wants to, he can. And the best thing is, when he does it, he makes sure he tells a good story with it. Because doing the flips, the kicks, the rolls mean nothing if you can't tell a good story to go with it. And this was a good story. Yeah, Chris Adonis interjecting himself a couple of times was a little annoying, but it was understandable. It made perfect sense. And in the end, you got him to retain it because of what happened somewhere a quarter into the night. And that was with Alberto El Patron. He's pissed off. He's angry at GFW. He's going to screw GFW. And he screwed this match by messing with the ref, making Johnny M to do a flip out of the ring to try and nail him, but he misses and hits the ref. And in the end, he gets nailed with a chair not once but twice. You got Eli Drake getting nailed once and then getting rolled on top of him, which I kind of felt wasn't the wisest thing to do, but I think it was in a sense because he's saying, I'm going to do things my way, Berto. I'll say this. This was a good show. I would recommend people to see it, but only once. It wasn't an outstanding show, but it was good. Better than you expected would be because of all the bad booking for the last 3 months. Honestly. But this is just my point of view. You guys tell me below. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace!